So all of a sudden, you start noticing some dark, you know, I don't know whether I should call them spots somewhere around your cheek. You know, this extends to different parts of your face. And you ask yourself, what really could be informing this? Sometimes it goes all the way to other parts of the body. And, you know, you just do not understand. Is it the product that you've been using? Is it that you've been exposed to so much, you know, ultra rays, the sun? Is it that you've bathed with strange soap? Just what is happening? Is it that you've had something strange, you know, to eat? Sometimes you get to ask yourself all these questions. And, you know, knowing how much skin is a darling to us, especially the ladies, you have to get worried. But then again, if this gets dire, is it something that is reversible? We'll be talking about skin pigmentation. I'd want to believe that that is exactly it, or hyperpigmentation. But then we have a specialist who will be telling us whether such is the case. And in the event that it occurs or it happens to you, then are you able to reverse the same? And even before it gets to that point, what can you do to prevent yourself from getting such? Karibu sana. It is that moment where we talk matters beauty, matters skincare. Alongside me is Josephine Mumbwa. Josephine Mumbwa is a skin specialist, so that she can help us go through this and get to understand. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Asante sana for your time, and we're excited to learn. We've been doing so much of beauty, you know, in terms of what you're supposed to do, the processes, skincare, and all that. But there's one thing that always is a stubborn question, because most of the people will ask, oh, I have developed this skin, you know, this dark kind of shade on my face, and I am worried about it. Now I have to do so much makeup so that I'm able to cover it. What really is this? Pigmentation?
Pigmentation is the change of our skin color.
Right.
And when that happens, it is always followed by melanin. You know, we have melanin in our skin.
Yes.
That is responsible for our skin color. And then when we talk about dark marks in our skin, different part of the skin, that is where hyperpigmentation comes in. That is when we have dark patches on the skin that are more darker than other parts. So you are all light, but on your cheeks, maybe on your neck, you have the dark part of the skin.
Right. Okay. So when we're talking about pigmentation, then it has to be dark. There's no way it changes to something lighter?
It does. It does.
Okay.
We have melasma, that is having lighter patches.
All right.
Like brown in color in the face.
Okay.
That does happen. And then we have our fellow men and women who have albinism too.
Okay.
So all that is change of when there is when the skin has been altered a bit, the melanin has been altered, then all that happens.
So these are caused by the same triggers or different triggers?
No, the same triggers.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So is it something that one cannot run away from over time with age, or it is something that really one can avoid?
We can avoid it if we are able to do a few things in time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let's say for the age, let's say for the women who are aging, that is between 25 to 30. If you use a moisturizer at the right times, use the sun protection every other time, then we can be able to avoid the hyperpigmentation in our skin.
So you're talking about sun protection. This is sunscreen.
Yes.
All right. So sometimes we really do not know what product to use. And in most cases, I'll tell you, that's the biggest fear. That while you are advised, go and make sure that you invest on a sunscreen, make sure you invest on a moisturizer. Sometimes you do not get the best. And actually, they become, or they end up being triggers to this pigmentation that we're talking about.
Women of color, there's one thing we forget. Only because I'm dark, I think I don't need a sunscreen.
Right.
And how do you even apply it? Like if I was to ask you, how many times do you apply your sunscreen in a day? I'm sure it's just in the morning and you forget about it.
Right.
But there's only there are few times that you need to apply. Every 2 hours.
But for someone like me who has makeup on, so I lose my makeup, I do my sunscreen, then get my makeup on, what happens?
If you love your skin, if you want to have
now let's be serious for a moment.
Unfortunately,
you have to do that.
You have to do
that.
Do
you do that as a specialist? Like right now, after 2-3 hours, once we're done with the show, you will lose your makeup?
Yes.
Have a sunscreen?
Yes.
I'm told that makeup in a way also protects the skin. Is it true?
Now, this is what happens when we talk about makeup.
Okay.
do you have foundation that has a sunscreen on it?
Okay.
If that has, maybe.
That can work.
But what about the hands? What about the neck? What about your exposed legs? You really need to protect them, because those are the most parts that get the dark patches.
All right.
And losing them, it is a hard nut to crack.
Let's go step by step. The key things that are notable, that you know of very well as a skin specialist, that would cause these dark patches that we're talking about, or will cause your skin to have patches, you know, a different color from your original skin.
When we talk about climate change,
Okay.
you know, I'm that mama mboga, I'm that girl who wants to go out and hustle. There is a lot of sun out there. And maybe in the extreme weathers, when it is super, super cold, that could affect.
All right.
And then when we talk about as women, you know, we have our me time that happens once in a while.
That's true.
Hormonal changes, pregnancy, that does affect our skin in so much big ways. And then when we talk about skin trauma, burns, if you hit yourself out there, you hurt the skin, then you're going to end up having dark patches on the skin.
Hold it right there before you even go to the next one. I noticed that a majority of these that you've mentioned are more of, you know, things we cannot avoid. They're more of naturals.
Yes.
Are there artificials that can get us having hyperpigmentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know we walk to any shop, a beauty shop, and we pick things even without reading what they contain.
Yeah.
Some of the ingredients are very harmful to the skin.
Okay.
So we need to be able to know, what do we pick from the shelves? Are we picking the right product that is not going to alter our melanin production in our skin?
Okay.
Is it going to make it hyper? Is it going to make it lessen completely? So we need to be able to know what are we picking. So we have lightening creams that end up damaging our skin. Let's say, sometimes back I remember we had issues with hydroquinone.
Right.
Oh, it is so damaging completely. So if we were to avoid such ingredients, then our skin will always be glowing.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so when we talk of the naturals, then you speak of the fact that the only way we run away from this is to make sure that we invest on good products, in the sense of having sunscreens and all that. So when we talk of, you know, good products, what are some of the basics that we look at, you know, when we're saying that, well, this is a sunscreen I want to pick, doesn't matter from what brand, but then again has the qualities of a good sunscreen. This is the moisturizer I'd want to pick. Doesn't really matter the brand, but, you know, has the qualities of what it is that I love to pick. How do you identify? What are some of the key things to look out for?
When you, let's start with the sunscreen.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'll always say for a good SPF, you need between 30 and above. The higher the better. We even have some
30
30 SPF.
Okay.
Yes, we even have as higher as 150. So depending on where you're going to be, in Nairobi, we can hack 30 to 50.
Let's not assume that we know what SPF is.
Sun protective factor that will protect you from the harmful UV rays from the sun.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are there times when you cover yourself with makeup and you say, well, at least it's covered with makeup, and sometimes we can really do heavy makeup? I can tell you sometimes you can have quite layers and layers of foundation. I mean, don't you think then that your skin is protected?
It is not.
Okay.
Because makeup is just a coverage. It's just like when you take a shawl and there's and you're feeling cold and you just put on yourself. That does not mean you're not feeling cold.
Okay.
So it will still penetrate.
Okay.
The rays are so strong, they'll penetrate anything and get to your skin.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I don't know whether we should go straight to this, but the biggest question is always, can it be reversed? Can it be removed? How do I do this? How do I protect myself from getting it again?
Yes, you can be able to do for the extreme ones. We have chemical peels that happens in the spas.
Okay.
But for me and you down here, what can we be able to do?
At home.
At home.
All right.
Yes. You can be able to get a good moisturizer that hydrates, that gives you moisture. And then we can talk about diet. You know, food is everything. The moment your skin is deprived of some nutrients, then it's going to hit back. So vegetables, kales, sukuma, you know our usual sukuma and kales, very good. And then vitamin C, we can be able to get them from a few fruits, but we can still get the vitamin C from some products. So when you're going to get your cream and you're having issues with hyperpigmentation, you can be able to check on vitamin C. It will help in lightening, not bleaching, lightening the skin. And body butters, they do not have a lot of oils, but they leave a nice film on the skin.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, hold it right there. And we'll speak of this. How then do you get to spot that, you know, there's some strange look on my skin, and maybe just get to understand whether this is pigmentation or this is a whole different thing? How do you get to spot some of these things?
Let's say you're used to having one same color from head to toe.
Okay, so this means we're talking about the whole body, because in most cases we just focus much on the face and we tend to overlook the other parts of the body. The unfortunate part, you can get hyperpigmentation even on your thighs, on your back, on your hands, everywhere. That can happen, because I'm sure we are not covered. We are never covered 24/7. We will always wear our sleeveless. We'll always wear shoes that are not covering our feet. So that can happen. Right.
And then I will always wish, if for someone who is not able to get the exact creams with the exact ingredients, let's say like vitamin B3, that helps in elasticity and hydration. You can be able to get the few things you have in the house, and you can be able to maybe make a homemade scrub, and it can be able to help. Yes.
Okay, so when we're talking about reversing the seam or removing pigmentation, which is the fastest way of doing this? Sometimes we'd want to go to skin specialists, dermatologists, you know, you want to go to the doctors, you get more creams to put on your face. Which is the fastest that we can think of, and you say, you know what, it's okay, this has happened, but we can always reverse it?
We cannot be able to do that very fast.
Okay.
Because when the damaging of the skin was happening, it did not happen in one day.
All right.
We got it over time. So, can I give a timeline?
No.
We'll only be able to talk between 4 to 24 weeks for you to be able to have your skin back. And that means for you to do the right things, use the right moisturizer, maybe go for chemical peels. They'll give you between 6 to 10 sessions for you to be able to have your skin back.
Right.
So the much we can do is prevent as much as we can, so that we do not get to the point of trying to reverse what has already happened.
All right, in the process of reversing, how then do you maintain that look through? You said it's important that you eat well and all that. Are there scenarios where you'd really need to have advice from professionals? Or you can just say, okay, well, at least we all know what nutrition is all like, so eating healthy automatically works for me?
Yeah, eating healthy will work for you.
Yeah.
But do you take your glasses of water? How much do you take?
All right.
I'm sure for morning, maybe 1 or 2, but at least you need 8 glasses of water. That I know it's a bit hard.
Yeah.
That's why we're investing on those big chupas that we have to walk around with.
That's true.
So if we were to hydrate our skin and take lots of fruits and now get some organic butters for someone who is just not able to go for the chemical pills and the spa days, you know, that will really be of help.
I'm told, okay, well, let's just pick this one, yogurt. Now that you mentioned about, you mentioned water and, you know, some drinks that we might have. There are instances I've been told that, well, this is too much caffeine, this is too much for your body and all that. But just how instrumental as, you know, drinks or liquids like yogurt in terms of, you know, also addressing the same, or it's just a myth where you're told, kunywa ndimu, waje ndimu, it would work, and in real sense it's not the case?
No. When we talk about liquids, we can take liquids in many forms. I'm sure we have those who take caffeine.
Yes.
That is super drying on the skin. We have those who take alcohol, still deprive our skin 1, 2, 3 nutrients. So when you're talking about healthy drinks, that is when you'll go to your smoothies, For those who are able to blend smoothies in the house, that will really help. You take a lot of veggies blended. You do those smoothies in fruits. Yes, that will go a long way.
Go in handy.
Yes.
All right. If it has to go to the level where you have to seek professional advice, what really in this case would be happening? Is it that maybe it is something that would have gone across almost the entire face or the entire body? Is it likely to happen that way, or you just have spots that stick that way somehow and are maybe radical and notorious to root them out?
When you notice a small patch, because that is how every patch starts, you notice maybe at the nose area it's getting darker. Before you know it, it is on the cheek. The other moment, it is on your arms, and then it goes all and all. You're not supposed to get to that point, because it means you have to go to a dermatologist. You have to start sessions that are going to take so long. And you have to start maybe using creams, retinol, and other creams that are going to be prescribed for you. So the moment you notice a small patch, please work on it immediately.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. And like you said, it is reversible, and something that is probably what many people would have loved to hear. And so one asks the question as to what age does pigmentation start? I think we've said something to do with you need to be keen when you hit 30 and all that. But are there times where it would start at a tender age or at a younger age?
Yes, that can really happen.
Yeah.
For our young girls when they're growing up, and our boys, we forget the men too, because that can happen to them. So on your teenage point, when all changes are happening and you're getting all flare up on the skin, it is possible. You can get pigmentation, that is hyperpigmentation, as early as 10, 11, or even younger than that. There are kids who were born in few months in the line because of maybe where they live or the exposure they're getting, and before you notice, they're already having hyperpigmentation on some parts.
And so for the babies, how do you protect them? Well, overlook the foods and all that. Some of them also do not get to points. I don't know whether it's right to have your young baby who goes out maybe to school at that tender age, wearing sunscreens and such like things. And when we're talking about sunscreen, do we speak of just wearing sunscreens on the face or the entire body?
When we talk about sunscreen and the kids, it means it is the whole body. And maybe for people who we have kids who are already in the spots, they're swimming, it means they have to be taught to always reapply the sunscreen, even at school. So when we talk about the skin at large, the youngsters, even when they're growing up, they need to be taught how to take care of the skin as early as the moment they're able to go to school. All
right. The natural aspect, let's go back to it. Reduction of melanin naturally. How do we do that? Well, we acknowledge that melanin is good and it's part and parcel of us. How then do we reduce this that starts popping out and showing on our very own screen and bringing in the different colors that we probably have, or in a way discoloring what was our original color? How do we do that naturally?
You need to be able to use a good cleanser. That is the basic of the skin, how to take care of it. You need to get a cleanser that we have soaps and we have cleansers depending on what someone is able to afford.
Yes.
So that will help in maybe if you have already formation that is already happening, when you clean with the right cleansers and soaps and use moisturizers at that early time, then that will not be able to happen. Yeah.
We're so huge in mixing products. I don't know how good this is. There are times you're told, oh, all right, don't use the same sunscreen all through. It's good to use this brand, maybe after 3 months, switch to a different brand, after 3 months, switch to a different brand. Sometimes you're having sunscreen from this brand, then you have your primer from a different brand, you have your foundation from a different brand. Just how, and sometimes they could be good quality. Are there scenarios where they could get to your skin and react?
The reaction might only happen if they have colliding ingredients.
Okay.
But this is always what should always happen to every woman or every man out there. When you go to pick your products, remember you're the person who is using them, and you have a skin specialist who is working through with you. So are you able to confirm within 3 weeks or 4 weeks, is it working? If it's not working, we drop and pick something else. So by the end of the day, you'll be able to have a brand or specific products that work for you, and they may not work for me. So recommendation from friends should not work when we are picking products.
Oh, all right.
What works for me might not work for you.
How long do you get to know that this product now works for me?
Between 2 to 3 weeks,
Okay.
your skin should have been able to adjust to the new product you're using. But when you buy a new product or when you go for testing, we have specific areas you can be able to apply the product and then sleep with them with the product on, and then the next day or within maybe two days or two nights, you can be able to confirm if anything did happen. That is at the jawline, nearly this point, and then in between your thighs or at the back of the thigh.
Okay.
And then there is a strip that is put there. Then that really, you'll be able, before you put the product on your face, then that will be able to tell you earlier, is it working? Because if there's any reaction, you're going to be able to see the redness, maybe itchiness, and some flare up that will happen.
All right. Okay. Is it true then that this myth I've just mentioned, that it's wise to switch brands when you're using, say, the sunscreen, that today you're having this brand, after a while a different brand? Is there anything that would be bad that would come out of that, or indeed, like many would argue, it's a good thing? I know on several occasions I've been told, on your hair, do not use the same product always. Try and get a conditioner from a different brand and a different brand. And somehow it has appeared to work.
Sometimes it does work, and sometimes it might not work.
Yes.
Because you could start using a specific product at this time, and then maybe after 6-7 weeks, it is out of the market. Are you going to stop taking care of your skin?
Definitely
no. It means you have to confirm the ingredients you've been using, and then check another brand that nearly has the same or something better you're looking for, then you'll end up buying it.
Someone is asking, are there specific foods that we're going to eat or we should eat to remove pigmentation, and are there others that would get you having pigmentation? That one makes me go back to diet. Yes.
You have to take fruits. Those are oranges. When we talk about vegetables, those are the kales. You know, our traditional vegetables, they work so well, because the moment our skin is deprived of vitamins and nutrients, it's going to hit back. You'll be able to tell. That's why the moment you have malnutrition, we are able to tell by the look of your skin, looking pale and dehydrated. Yes. All
right. So when we talk about pigmentation, it's the same thing with hyperpigmentation, right?
No, when we talk
different.
There is a difference.
There's a difference.
Yes.
Hold it right there. I think we take a short break and then you come tell us the difference between this. And I'm told there's something else that is called melasma. That one for the young kids, eczema, and we get to learn of the difference between all this after this break.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongee zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali. Tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Ndio vile nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444 hash utunukiwe Credo Double Double.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
As the country gears up for possible BBI referendum and 2022 general elections,
as the salvos enter too familiar territory,
William Ruto will serve his 5-year term as the deputy president.
Pundits Night is here to give you powerful, thought-provoking political commentaries.
The mountain can produce a country.
give Moses Kuria a chance to respond. Let me ask you this. Are you not taking advantage of first my situation?
You talk about the people with the ultimate power.
Kikuyus will vote for somebody from outside their community to be the next president of this country.
We talk to the newsmakers, the opinion shapers, and the pundits.
Fair enough. I believe
that part so that I don't lose.
As we dissect everything you need to know to make an informed decision.
Well, make sure to join us on a Morning Cafe, where we have comprehensive political debates, newspaper review, in-depth analysis on matters of business, alongside KCK, lifestyle talks that will involve matters health, fitness, and not forgetting nutrition. And to cream it all on Friday, that is on Feel Good Friday, where we allow you to interact with the entertainment gurus as we close the week. With me, Linda Alela. Back to the broadcast. We're still on skincare and we focus on pigmentation. I am glad that this is good news, that in as much as, yes, there's that discoloration on your skin, or you probably have started developing some level of dark, spots on your skin, you need not to worry, because this is something that can be reversed. For as long as you eat healthy, you make sure that you take care of your skin, make sure that it's always moisturized and glowing. And a specialist, Josephine Mombwa, is with us this morning, skin specialist for that matter, and expounding some more on that, on some of the key things that you should pick on to make sure that you're looking all good. And you need not to worry, because, well, there's that point of prevention, you can prevent that. But if it gets to that dire point, you need not to worry, because, like I said, you can always reverse that. Before we went for the break, Josephine, my question then was, is there a difference between pigmentation, hyperpigmentation, and melasma?
Melasma is when you get the light brown patches.
All right.
Now we are not talking about dark patches.
Okay.
And these mostly will happen in pregnant women. Mm-hmm. That is the big number that gets that.
Do you have to do anything after that? Maybe while you're pregnant, then you get this. Once you've given, like you've sired already, or you've given a bath already, then that means the process can be reversed on its own, or there's something that you have to do?
Mostly when you give birth, when you put to bed, most of the time the skin is able to heal itself back. Yes, but the hyperpigmentation, when now that happens, that is when you have darker patches on the skin. That is on any normal person, mm-hmm. without being pregnant, then now you have to work on the skin.
Okay.
That is when we talk about the chemical peels, the use of moisturizers that have specific ingredients that you need to look out for, the vitamin C, the B12, and the rest. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so hyper and pigmentation, same?
When we talk about hyper, mm-hmm. we're talking about the skin color.
Okay.
Yes.
And pigmentation?
When you're getting the dark patches already on the skin.
Okay.
Yes.
I get the point now. So we've spoken about foods, and we've said foods are really, really important. Any specific ones that when you eat them, you would get to experience this difference, or then that would squarely be about allergy?
We have food that bring allergies on the skin. I'm sure there are people who, when they eat chicken peas, when they do soya, they get flare up. Okay. So if you've been able to notice that happens, or when you take protein, and then you'll end up having an itchy skin, and when you continue scratching it, you end up getting the patches on the skin. So you need to be able to monitor your diet, check what you eat, and does anything happen when you eat specific foods. And maybe when you get a scratchy neck, what have you eaten before? Okay. Have you done anything different that you've not done in a few weeks? Then you'll be able to monitor. If anything new did happen, then you can be able to rule out.
All right. Yeah. Okay, speaking of which then, the importance of vitamin C, I would love for you to tell us whether this is one of the nutrients that you want in your body if at all you are to deal with pigmentation, or all these skin conditions.
Yes, vitamin C is very important. It helps in lightening the skin. And you can get that in fruits and in moisturizers that you are able to buy off the counter. Yeah.
All right. So there's a level where one is extremely agey in a way. Maybe you're at 50, at 60 there, and these dark spots are evident. In such a scenario, will it be too late for someone to reverse?
It is not super late, and it is not so early. So the only thing I would recommend to such a person, they'll have to start using the anti-aging cream, use products that have moisture and hydrates the skin. Then maybe we could be able to maintain without extravagancing the patches.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, to the babies. Eczema. Eczema or eczema? Mostly we hear eczema, so I don't know how it's pronounced. Eczema.
Yeah, that is one part.
That's one thing you need to know, because most of the people say it all wrong. And you get to the doctor, there's like eczema, and you're like,
yeah. What's that?
It's not even, it doesn't sound like it's pronounced that way or even spelled that way. So get it right. Eczema.
Or when we talk about babies,
yes,
it's like touching my heart when we talk about babies, like how I wish everyone would be able to know how to handle a baby's skin.
Yes.
It is so delicate, very delicate. And the moment you mess it up as early as day one, you will have to struggle with it for nearly 4 to 5 years.
Most of the times you're told that, oh, babies, it's okay, ata akikula sweeties, meno zitangoka. Well, ata ni mdogo bado, the skin will wear out, and he will get, or she will get, a good skin eventually. But I'm told, but like you rightfully put it, it appears as though it's a different affair from what it is that we're told. I want us to, cut this conversation for a moment, or maybe halt it for a moment, and we go all the way to Nyeri County. We have some news from there, and then we come back to you and get to understand how best then we take care of baby skin from day one. So Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation is today set to commission major projects in Mwega, that is in Nyeri County. And so the corporation is also expected to announce the amount of money earned from the 54 megawatts Garissa solar power plant, which is the largest grid connected solar power plant in East and Central Africa. Our very own reporter, Mwangi Maina, is following the events in Mwega for us and now joins us live with the latest. Good morning, Mwangi. And I want to understand that one of the projects to be commissioned today is a Shillings for a Shilling project. Kindly explain this to our viewer.
Well, thank you so much, Linda Alela, coming to you live from Mwega here in Nyeri County. Mwega is in Kieni sub-county, or if you like, Kieni constituency. And you have said one of the things that REREC, or the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, REREC, will be doing is the upscaling of the one of what you have said, scaling of Shilling for a Shilling project. This ensures that REREC commits the same amount of money as the same as as a county government or a member of parliament commits to undertake projects, rural electrification projects in their own constituencies or in their own counties. So, for example, say a county like Nyeri, if the governor Mutahi Kahiga has set apart 100 million for rural electrification in Nyeri County, REREC will in turn commit 100 million shillings for the same project. And as you have said, Linda, one of the projects to be commissioned today or to be launched today is the commission of Mitero and Bondeni Line Saba electricity program that will see of 1,100 residents of Mitero village and Line Saba villages here in Kieni constituency benefiting from that project being undertaken by REREC. Also, as you have said, Linda Alela, REREC will also be announcing their earnings or giving a status update on what they have garnered from the Garissa solar power plant. As you have said, it is one of the largest solar power plants in East and Central Africa. This plant, which is about 54 megawatts, was launched in December 2019, and the chairman board of directors of REREC, Dr. Professor Simon Gisharu, who happens to be the chairman of the board of directors, will be giving those earnings. Also, Linda Alela, he will be commissioning Moiga stores. As you can see, it is big stores here, lying on 3 acres piece of land. And if my camera person can be able to pan and show you the stores that will be launched today. And the main purpose of these stores is to ensure that there are decentralization of services of REREC, and as well as ensuring there is smooth flow of construction materials on projects being undertaken by REREC in the Mount Kenya region and the surrounding counties. So this project that has been undertaken by REREC will be ensuring that there is that decentralization of services, as well as the distribution of construction materials. Also, probably to let know our viewer, is that the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation has installed about standalone solar systems in 5,000 public schools in the country, and is currently conducting around 62 projects in 62 secondary schools in the country. Linda Alela, that is the latest update from Moiga. We will be bringing you to speed on this activity as it unfolds. Back to you in studio.
Well, Mwangi Maina, I must acknowledge that is good enough for us as at now, but later on, of course, we'll be looping you in so that you can keep us up to speed as to the events and how they have taken center stage, what is new, what is different indeed. I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots to get from there, but as we can rightfully see, it is something that is worth, making very many people get to enjoy the aspect of development. So as Mwangi follows up on that, let's proceed with the conversation as we look forward to get more details from him later on. And back to you, Josephine. Josephine is a skin specialist, and remember, we're talking about pigmentation, but now we take it, or we scale it a little bit lower, and I'm saying lower, or it's actually a notch higher based on how you want to look at it. I just consider it lower because then we're talking about the minors and how you take care of your baby from day one to make sure that their skin is well protected. Remember, it's very sensitive, and sometimes anything that would be a little bit rough on them, it would get them being very uncomfortable. And so how you handle them, how you treat them. And even before you get to that, there's this question that I really wanted to ask. Sometimes we're so radical and rough on our skins because we really want to lose that makeup. We probably do not use cleansers, makeup removers, and so we just get this rough kitambars, for lack of a better word, and then you want to scrub it so hard so that you get the makeup coming out. A wise move, a good thing?
No.
Okay.
We cannot fight with the
How
skin.
gentle can we be? Oh,
we
that's
need to be
super
gentle.
All
You're
right.
not fighting with the skin. You're not fighting with the makeup. You need to at least use cotton wool pads or your finger, your hands, and then when you put the product on your hands or on the cotton pads, very smooth and circular movements on your skin.
All right.
Super gentle.
Super
No
gentle.
fighting. And then you did mention about the kitamba. You know, the kitamba that is always in our washroom, in our bedroom, just there at the counter, where you'll always pick it every minute. And how do you leave it in the morning when you're walking away? Damp in the dark area. So what does that mean? It's going to have bacteria breeding there, and the moment you use it on your skin again, you're going to be transferring the same from the kitambaa to your face.
Okay.
So can we throw those vitambaas away?
After
can
a while?
we? Yeah, no, immediately. And if you really have to use them
daily,
if you really have to use the vitambaa, please take it outside to the sun.
All right.
Proper sunlight would help.
Okay.
Let them be super dry before you use them. But why do we have to go all that route? We have our hands with us. Wash them, put the cleanser or the soap, and use them to wash your face. And you're going to be super safe.
Okay, super safe. And skincare, they say it's very important that you start that at a very tender age. And that's the reason why it is necessary that we talk about taking care of the baby's skin.
Yes, yeah. When we talk about eczema, how do I know my baby has it? And at what age can they get it? As age as 1 day old, that can happen.
Okay.
Yes, you can be able to see it. And how are you able to tell that is eczema? The skin will end up looking dry, flaky, itchiness. And how are you able to tell a baby is itching? They'll be throwing their legs every now and then, and they're crying.
Hold it. Could it be informed by what it is that the mommy takes before, giving birth? Or this is something that is more of a natural process? Because yes, like you rightfully put it, as early as day 1, you can spot that.
We can still be able to connect it to what the mother was eating, but the moment the baby is out, the skin is on its own.
Right.
So you'll not be able to tag it to the mother. So the environment where the baby is could be able to trigger eczema in the baby. Because let's say when we talk about the itchiness, maybe the clothes and the area where the baby is being placed has things that are triggering the flare up happening. So the skin mostly, like if you look at the baby folds. Those are areas you can be able to check for eczema flare up. You find the place looking dry and flaky. And sometimes if the baby is light, to be able to see the redness on the neck and the chin. And sometimes you'll be able to feel maybe someone did scratch your baby. The baby was not scratched. The skin is just flaring up. Yes.
All right. And so how do you take care of this to make sure that, it ends? Because then you cannot even call it a reverse in the event that maybe the baby is born with it. So how do you get them to have a moisturized our skin? Because again, the products that we use could be very sensitive on baby. And I've heard on several occasions that you're discouraged from using petroleum jellies on your skin. And sometimes you are discouraged from using bar soaps on your skin. Yet we look at those ones as the most basic that we can use on babies, in as much as we know that there are a couple of baby products around.
Before we go to what to use on the babies, there are a few things that will end up triggering eczema in babies. That is, let's say you're in the rural areas, we have pollen grain.
Okay.
We have milk. I'm sure we have a lot of kids who react to
mommy's milk or even milk.
Not mommy's milk, but
milk.
Cow milk.
Cow milk, yes.
Cow milk.
Right.
And protein, a lot of protein, soya. So you should be able to check on those few things. If you're able to avoid them, then you can be able to avoid the triggers of eczema.
Right.
And then when we talk about what we use on the baby, first we should check what to avoid. The skin is already very sensitive, very tender, and the baby is so young. So things like fragrance, things that oils that coat the skin without leaving it to breathe, things that do not give moisture to the skin. That's why it's getting the cracking part and the itchy part, and how at the end of the day, what do you do to the skin? So you need to be able to get bath cleansers that are very mild and soothing to the skin. And how do you bathe this baby? you at least do it twice in a day and moisturize more than twice in a day. Because the moment the skin gets dry, then the itchiness and the discomfort start happening.
Okay. It can be something that is very difficult for mummies. And why I say mummy's milk is that sometimes, even when you probably are breastfeeding and some of this milk falls or maybe splashes into the face of the baby, sometimes they start developing rashes. And therefore, then you realize that as much as it's the best milk or it's the best food for the baby at that particular time, it also can have its own, negatives or disadvantages, especially when it comes to direct contact with the face or maybe the skin of the baby. Is this then, when we're talking about pigmentation, more or less the same thing as dark spots? It's a whole different thing.
It's a very different thing because this one will go even to the hidden part of the skin. Under the arm, at the baby bum area, in between the neck, the folds, and maybe at the eyelids, you're able to see that happening, and the behind the ears.
Okay.
But when we talk about the baby's mother's milk, why you end up finding a baby reacting to it? You are breastfeeding the baby, and the milk splashes on the face, and then because you're a busy mom, you forget that you're supposed to wipe it off. That is where the issue starts.
All right,
yes.
So it stays on the skin for long, then it starts reacting because then it's bacteria, it's germs.
Yes, it's going to get dirt that is around us, and before you know it, becomes a bacteria area. Yes.
Makeup removal products. Several occasions I've bought a couple that in most cases you're told, just use your hands to wipe off makeup with this particular product, or just have some on cotton wool and then wipe it off. And underneath you're told you don't have to rinse. Is there anything wrong with that? Just how confident can you be that you're having a foreign a product that is not as clear and pure as water, and then you're cleaning yourself with it and you're going to rest, you're probably having your moisturizer on top of it?
We have products that after removal of your makeup, you're able to sleep with them.
Okay.
But that does not mean you're sleeping with the product. Remember, you're using your cotton wool. And by the moment you're finishing up with the removal of your makeup, it means your cotton pads are as clean as from the way you started, from the way you picked them. So that is the only moment you can be able to say your face is clean. You can be able to sleep. Because when you wipe, when you're doing the wipe off, you're going to remove the product. So no product is left on the skin.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's talk to the men out here, because they always say that this is about the ladies. And I think you mentioned that earlier on, that we just say, in our channel, let them look good. The skin is for them. I don't have to. In fact, nilisikia mwanaume ni kuparara. So like, who said that? And it happens a lot. And sometimes you also do not want to meet your man and they're looking like they're all shiny, or it's like they just had a foundation or something like, a cream on their face. And it shows in most cases, it looks like it's a turn off. So how do they get to look like a man, masculine, and still have their skin looking good?
When we talk about men and skincare, they need to be super educated and told what to do. Men cannot handle more than one product on their skin.
Yeah.
So that is the moment when I talk to them, I tell them, you can only be able to get a cleanser. That is a cleanser and a mask and a scrub at the same time.
Okay.
So meaning when they wash their skin in the morning and maybe they place the same product at the bathroom, they'll be able to remember to use it.
All right.
And then in the evening when they come back, they'll be able to remember to pick the same product, wash their face as they wash their whole body, and they'll be able to moisturize when they're going to sleep.
Okay.
Because for men, they only need, most of the time they want a one-off. They do not want to be able to pick product A, then go to C, then do the B again. They will not be able to use a routine. But once in a while, they need a spa day. They need to be able to walk into that spa, have their facials done, have a body scrub, and maybe we could be able to have better men walking around with better skin.
It is possible, men, so take advantage of that small advice. You might look at it as though it's small, but years down the line, when your skin is looking all good and you're probably looking 20 years younger than your age, then you would thank us then and say, you know, I'm glad I watched or I tuned into TV47 that morning. Josephine Mumboa, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. It was good having you, and we are looking forward to have you some more, even as we learn more on how best we look good and, you know, how best we work on our skin, because that is crucial. Most of the times we think that these processes are expensive, and therefore learning some of the basics that we can do at home is very, very important. And sometimes you don't have all the time to go to the spa, so why don't you do it constantly? You know, I remember there are times we used to be told scrub after a month. Nowadays you're told like how many times a week?
At least twice
a week.
Yes.
Imagine. So times are changing. We're also being exposed to so much, and so it is important that we take care of ourselves. Unless there's anything else you'd want to add, probably tell us how we get a hold of you. One would require advice, and then we close it at that.
If you want to talk to me about your skin, I'm very reachable. You can get me through my number. I'm sure it is down on the screen.
No, it's not down on the screen. Just tell us. Tell us.
Yeah, 0711 88 5353. Please get in touch. We talk about your skin. I'm going to advise you what you need to use. You yourself and the baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
They'll be able to recommend what will work best on you. Yes.
When you hear you yourself and the baby, you almost think like this is a message for the women. Also the men out there. That's
even the men out there.
Yes.
Please, you can call for your husband or your brothers.
That's true.
I'll be able to advise you what to get for them.
Josephine Mumboa, thank you so much. And physically, is there a place you're located?
Yes, I'm at Tiaya, Chakakot.
Okay.
House number 3. You can always call me and we can be able to have a meeting and talk about your skin.
Thank you so much once again. And remember that we have our very own Mwangi miner on standby. Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, REREC, is today set to commission major projects in Nyeri County. And of course, there is so much that is going on down there. You've received that update by Mwangi Miner, and we still are expecting more coming your way. That of course will speak hugely of this particular project or the projects that are under this body, and to make sure that at least we get to understand of the benefits of the same. And on very